Thank you for joining me. My name is Diana Rockwell of Webinars by Rockwell. This video is designed with the administrative professional in mind and the unique job duties and tasks we are expected to do every day. With over 40 years of experience as a secretary, administrative assistant, and executive assistant, I hope my experiences and skill sets can help you excel in our chosen or fallen into profession. I appreciate your choosing to spend the next few minutes with me as we discuss virtual meetings. Let's get started. In this video, we will be discussing what is a virtual meeting, goal setting for your meeting, nailing down the details, and the ever forgotten but very important final step of the wrap-up. Meet the Jetsons. Everyone has attended at least one Zoom or Teams meeting since the pandemic hit in March of 2020. Prior to that, WebEx, GoToMeetings, etc. were used instead of traveling to make sales pitches to companies and institutions across the world. You can have a meeting without much extra equipment or special planning. It's a win-win for everyone. Maybe. Let's discuss it. So what is a virtual meeting and why do we have them? Unless you've been unemployed during the pandemic, chances are you've attended at least one virtual meeting. We could not gather in person for meetings in my state due to government mandates, so we flipped to virtual meetings. Virtual meetings are not new. The Jetsons had them in 1963. It's about time the world caught up, don't you think? Video conferencing has been sparingly used the last decade or so. In my experience, it was mainly for salesmen to give demos rather than traveling in person to make their sales pitch for their product. It was also used for financial updates on data for foundations, not-for-profits, and to meet across the world without costing tons of money with long-distance phone charges. I work for a small private college in upstate New York, and in 2 weeks in March of 2020, we flipped instruction from in-person to video. We found that some of our laptops that the faculty had been assigned did not have cameras, so we went in search of webcams, only to be told no one had them. We also found that some of our faculty and staff lived in areas of the state without any or with very poor internet access. We then began looking for Wi-Fi hotspots, otherwise known as jetpacks, through our cell phone carrier. It was still a no-go. No one had equipment. We ended up buying 10 refurbished devices, but had to wait almost 2 months for them to be delivered. Just when we thought the world was completely interconnected, we found out that it wasn't. There are pockets of rural locations where the major cable and internet providers do not service. During this time, I lived just outside of town, about a quarter of a mile from a Spectrum office. They did not service my road. We had a total of 5 to 6 houses, and it wasn't worth their expense to run wiring and hope everyone would buy from them. Interestingly enough, the fiber trunk went by 3 houses away on a minor highway and serviced the businesses around the corner from my home. So I started using my cell phone hotspot for internet. I could do a lot of work without internet, but if I needed to place orders through our system or enter vouchers to pay invoices, I would need the internet. We also had to punch in and out every day, so I needed it for that as well. It wasn't very reliable, but it got me through our company shutdown that lasted 4 months. All of this background was to help set the stage for this question. What is a virtual meeting and why do we need them? The first answer is that it's a way to connect people at different geographic locations that would have had to connect by phone without the visual cues in order to get any work done. It's basically a telephone meeting with video. As for why we need it, it should be self-evident. It allows work to be done easier and faster than ever before. According to Ashley Bell from Snack Nation Office, she defines a virtual meeting as an event that brings people together via the internet or a digital network, usually to achieve a shared objective. A well-organized virtual meeting allows people to collaborate and share information in real time without the need of being in the same physical location. Many people think there is no planning necessary other than agenda for a virtual meeting. Whether your goal is to be a soft meeting, a get-together for quality FaceTime with coworkers, or a hard meeting to make decisions or do strategic planning, a little advanced planning of your meeting will go a long way to make it a success to reach your goal. First, you need to know the participants and be prepared to steer discussion away from tangents or to that one person's pet project. Each personality type comes through loud and clear to the other participants, and it's the facilitator's job to contain the discussion to remain on topic. In every group, there is always different personality types. In meetings, they show up as the talker, the shy one, and the one with all the ideas that others are to implement. And those are just a few that we're going to highlight today. The facilitator needs to have control of the discussion. You can do that in a couple of ways. You can control the mute settings and call on people to speak. You need to cut off the long-winded talker when it becomes unwieldy and steer the discussion back to the agenda topic. It is also your responsibility to pull out the shy one by asking questions of that person with more than just a yes or no answer. The idea person will share and probably overshare, but have no implementation plans. So ask about those rather than just delegate those ideas to other people to explore, build, and test. Based on a 2021 survey, the majority of meetings last between 0 and 30 minutes, 9% of the meetings. 26% of the meetings are 31 to 40 minutes long. 25% are 1 to 1.5 hours long, and 16% are 1.5 to 2 hours long. 13% are 2 to 4 hours long, with only 10% of meetings lasting over 4 hours. Before scheduling a meeting, you must first know the goal of the meeting. If this is brainstorming for a new residence hall project, you will probably need the 4-hour-long meeting. If it's to touch base for the IT department on Monday morning to outline projects for the week, you may only need 15 to 30 minutes. Don't forget to consider the man hours per meeting as well as the cost of the technology that is needed to host the meeting. Consider if you really need to tie up 4 hours of all 4 vice presidents at the first planning meeting. Or should you just have the one vice president in charge of the project there to get the parameters set and assignments given to the staff members? Have an agenda and a plan for the meeting that will go far to keep the length of the meeting to a minimum. We can't be all meeting all day because we would never get any of the work done that was assigned to us at any of those meetings. I love this quote by Walt Disney. We as admins are the doers of the organization, making sure people do their part and get the project completed or are ready for the budget meeting tomorrow. So we're just like Nike. We just do it. Some of the challenges you face, even before the meeting starts, are technology. Does everyone have the link to open the Zoom or Teams meeting? Does their equipment have the software needed to run the meeting? What about webcams, microphones, headphones, etc.? Then once the meeting is started, you need to deal with the low engagement. If you're getting crickets chirping instead of people participating, make it easy for them to share or speak up. In our IT staff meetings on Monday mornings, it's typically crickets. We've even found a meme that is posted when that happens. It's tumbleweed in the desert. It always gets a laugh and loosens people up. You want people to be comfortable to engage, but not too comfortable that you have interruptions of pets, children, significant others, people cooking dinner, or even doing the dishes. We've all seen the blooper video cuts of the weather girl giving her live report during the 6 o'clock news from her kitchen with her bathroom door open and her husband taking a shower in the background. Not to mention the children and pets that have screen bombed their parents during interviews, financial updates, media reports, and the like. There's even the guy who stood up and stretched, standing away from his desk, and he was only wearing his boxers with his dress shirt. Those scenarios are considered interruptions and distractions. While they're funny to watch happen to other people, they're not as funny when it happens in your meeting. My suggestion would be to tell everyone in your home that you will be on a meeting, so don't interrupt unless there's blood, as my parents used to say. Have a signal on the door or on the door handle that tells everyone wishing to enter that you are on a conference call. In the days before video conferencing was commonplace, I was on a phone conference call with about 20 other people, which was much harder to mute on your phone if you even knew what the code was. One lady was in her car, so we had the noise of her driving and the beeps of her car. Then when she got home, she hauled her stuff into the house. We heard everything. She began to make dinner. She turned on her television and proceeded to have a fight with her husband, all while we were trying to listen to a committee report. I've been on calls with dogs barking, people answering their front door, answering their telephone, or just not paying attention and either gaming or working on something else. And then there's that have to go to the bathroom. Just be conscious, especially if you are on video. I have a static picture of myself as my default. I hate how I look on camera. As you can tell, I never appear on camera. And that eliminates that problem with my messy house or my kids walking behind me during a call. I keep my microphone muted until I wish to talk, which takes care of any side conversations or animals barking. The last challenge, is conversation flow. We see it much more often on video conferencing meetings than in person because we don't have the physical cues and visual cues of when to speak. We often take that for granted. So we end up with silence and then two people talking at the same time. It's the facilitator's job to make sure both people have a chance to speak and that everyone has a chance to hear what they have to say. Here are a few suggestions to make your meeting successful for both sides of the meeting, both as a facilitator and a participant. So what to do? Share a detailed agenda. Take a roll call. If it's appropriate and it's a new group of people and not a standard staff meeting you have every week, you can do an icebreaker. A very short, funny icebreaker is appropriate. Ask participants to speak, such as for committee reports or updates on their portion of the project. Assign a moderator or a co-host to help you with the technical side of muting and following the chat. Speak slowly. It's a lesson I had to learn doing the videos. It also helps with elderly people if you deal with the elderly. Talk lower and talk slower. They will understand you much easier. Stick to your agenda and call on those who haven't had a chance to speak yet. And things to remember: assign a note taker. Add the agenda to the calendar invitation so they can find it easier. Log on early and test your equipment so there's no delays in starting the meeting on time. Take a break if the meeting runs long. You'll find people hop off at about an hour anyway. It's good to take a break and have them planned. Ask for additional thoughts or questions before you close the meeting. Follow up with action items and plan the next meeting date. That's not on there, but that's important. Participants in the meeting should dress appropriately for a business meeting. Again, speak slowly. Mute yourself when you're not speaking. Focus on the meeting. Yes, it's tempting if it's boring. It's not anything you are working on yourself. You might need that information later on. So it's important to focus on the meeting. When you're speaking, make eye contact with the camera. I know it feels strange, but it's like looking at the person directly. Prepare ahead of time with your drink of choice, something to take down notes, or a blank screen on your computer so that you could type up notes. Just another few things I want to share from past experiences. Monday 8 a.m. meetings usually don't go well unless they're there to lay out the week's work. Friday afternoon meetings at 4 p.m. don't go well either. Most are anticipating the weekend and how quickly they can get out of here. You'll find that some dates just tend to attract all of the meetings, and you'll want 20 people meeting with you on March 22nd for some unknown reason. They say Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the best days of the week to have meetings, whether in person or virtual. It's linked to productivity in our schedule and work days. In the summer, you may find that a lot of people take Mondays and Fridays off, so rethink scheduling on those days during the summer. Other days to steer clear of, and I might be saying this to the choir, but the Monday after Super Bowl, the day after St. Patrick's Day, before and after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Day. Watch for spring break, and even around Independence Day. Some people tend to travel, or that's their first summer vacation of the year. So just be conscious of other people's plans when you're setting up meetings. Consider having a meeting-free day or a partial day every week. You may need free time to work on the tasks assigned to you during all those meetings you attend. A former boss preferred he not have any client meetings before 11 a.m. Each meeting usually ran about 2 hours, so he could see maybe 2 to 3 people a day. He was a portfolio manager, so he liked to study the stock market and research company IPOs and other new companies in the mornings. Also, listen to your body and your brain for the best time of day for you to have meetings. If you work better in the morning and worse in the afternoon, schedule your key important meetings for the morning. If you get tired around 3 p.m., don't schedule an important meeting then. Encourage people to do the raised hand gesture in the meeting when you're meeting virtually so they can speak next. Some of your people may be introverted and it's harder for them to break in and speak. Also encourage use of the chat function. It's best if you have someone else monitor it and check with them periodically for input. If you use the tools at hand on your conference software, whether it be Zoom, Teams, or any other brand. There are ways to control the meeting when it becomes necessary to make it productive for everyone. With a little preparation and planning, you can have productive meetings instead of wasting time. Look for opportunities to allow everyone to participate and be part of the conversation. Decisions will be made easier and morale will be higher with just a few tweaks to your current process. Thank you for spending your time with us. Webinars by Rockwell provides a wide variety of video topics focused on the unique skill sets of the administrative professional. Watch for announcements for newly released videos every month on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Bye for now.